You know, the world of long-haul trucking, it's a universe all its own. It's a place of just incredible isolation where thousands of miles of empty highway can feel like you're on a totally different planet. And out there in the middle of the night, the normal rules of society, well, they can seem to just fade away. Today, we're diving into a collection of true stories from truckers who found something genuinely terrifying waiting for them in the dark. Stories that are a stark reminder of just how thin that veil of civilization really is.
This quote from a trucker, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. It's not just about being alone. It's about what that deep, profound solitude does to your mind, hour after hour after hour. It's a psychological landscape that's just as vast and empty as the physical one. And well, it's the perfect stage for horror to unfold.
So, to really get these stories, first we have to understand the environment. We're talking about a job that is defined by these grueling hours and a kind of solitude that, let's be honest, most of us will never ever experience. This isn't just a job, it's a whole other state of being. The physical and mental exhaustion is just immense. I mean, can you imagine finishing an 8-hour haul only to immediately have to start a 12-hour one? These drivers push themselves to the absolute limit. We're talking about people resorting to things like smelling salts just to jolt themselves awake and keep their eyes on the road. And this state of extreme fatigue, it's crucial because it lowers your defenses and it seriously clouds your judgment.
And this contrast? This is the absolute core of roadside horror. For hours, a trucker's entire world is just the hypnotic drone of the engine and that white line stretching endlessly into the darkness. It's an incredibly monotonous routine, so when something shatters that routine, something sudden and completely bizarre, the effect is 1,000 times more jarring. It's that rupture of reality that is just so terrifying.
And that rupture, it almost always begins with a lure, a bait. Every one of these stories kicks off with something just strange enough to demand a closer look. Something to pull the driver out of their trance and straight into a situation they never, ever saw coming.
Okay, so our first lore, deep in the Mojave Desert, a red Ford Fusion is just parked, dead center, right on the double yellow line. Its hazard lights are blinking, and the passenger door is hanging wide open. It's like an invitation into the pitch-black silence of the night.
Now, the second lure is, if you can believe it, even weirder. On a remote highway in Montana, a trucker spots a purple dress just lying in the middle of the road. A few hundred yards later, a pair of shoes. And then, a little further on, a pile of children's clothing. It's this trail of unsettling breadcrumbs that's leading, well, somewhere. And for our third lure, a bone-tired driver pulls into what looks like a totally abandoned rest stop. All he wants is an energy drink. He fully expects the convenience store to be locked up tight, but instead, the door just swings open into absolute darkness. So the big question is, why on earth do they stop? In each case, it's a different reason. One driver, he describes himself as fearless. He figures maybe someone just needs a jump start. Another is so exhausted he admits the red flags just didn't even register. So whether it's curiosity or a sense of duty or just simple fatigue, it's this very human element that pulls them out of the safety of their cab and right into the trap. Okay, this is the crucial point in every single story. This is the moment the situation flips. That feeling of unease that was kind of simmering in the background, it boils over into an active, undeniable threat. This is where the strange becomes truly sinister. Let's go back to that rest stop story. The driver goes into the dark store, finds this bizarre, gutted refrigerator that's still plugged in. So weird. As he's leaving, he hears a clatter. He dismisses it, gets back on the road, but then he sees the curtain behind his seat start to move, and it hits him with this wave of horror. The sound he heard was people hiding in the back of his own truck. Now, in the Mojave story, the turn is way more explosive. The trucker, checking out that abandoned car, he manages to pop the trunk. Inside, 3 garbage bags. And as he reaches for one, this happens. A gunshot just cracks the desert silence. He doesn't stick around to see who fired it. And the reveal in the Montana story, wow, it's horrifying. The trucker hears what sounds like a child's scream coming from the woods, but instead of just running in blindly, he hits his semi's high beams and points them at the spot. And the light reveals 3 or 4 people, and one of them is holding a massive speaker. They were trying to lure him into the woods with a recording. The trap is laid bare. What comes next is pure survival. The investigation is over.
The only goal now is to get away. The highway is no longer just a workplace, it's a hunting ground. The escape from the Mojave turns into a full-blown chase. The man with the rifle gets in his car and pursues the truck for 15 terrifying minutes, honking, trying to run him off the road. The whole chase only ends when police lights finally appear on the horizon and the car just veers off into the desert and vanishes. For the trucker who had the stowaways, his escape ends at a police station, and his quote here, it says everything. The police pull 3 people from the back of his truck, 2 men and a woman, one of them armed with 2 switchblades, and they don't say a single word. They just stare him down as they're arrested, chilling.
And back in Montana, even as the trucker slams on the gas to get away from that trap, the threat makes one final violent statement. An object is launched from the darkness, cracking his passenger side window. It's like a parting shot, just to prove that the danger was very, very real. So, the escapes are successful, but the stories are far from over. Because what makes them so deeply unsettling is what's left behind, this chilling ambiguity, and the questions that will probably never, ever be answered. And this really brings us to the core mystery of each one of these encounters. I mean, in the Mojave, what was that man trying to bury? What was in those bags? At the rest stop, what did those 3 armed people actually want? And in Montana, what were they planning to do if that trucker had run into the woods? These aren't just little details. They are these gaping holes in reality that leave you with a profound sense of dread.
So when you look at all of this, you see that these events, they share a common anatomy. They all prey on the unique vulnerabilities of a long-haul trucker, right? The isolation, the fatigue, the vast emptiness of the landscape. They use these lures that tap into basic human decency or curiosity, and their real power lies in the complete and total mystery of the attacker's motives. And in every single case, the police are called, but no answers are ever found. The culprits just disappear.
Ultimately, these stories peel back a very thin layer of civilization that we all just take for granted. They remind us that just beyond the glow of our headlights, there are these vast stretches of darkness where really anything can happen. And they leave us with one final chilling question to think about the next time you're on a lonely road late at night.